Do you remember the first Galaxy S, the one after which Samsung realized that imitating is the path for weakest? That's why they try to be different both technologically and visually from other brands, moving forward, not backward. So, this is the 10th model in the series, which once again received some new features. My name is Bogdan and today I'll show you the closer look at that smartphone, but first, enjoy some beauty shots. I'd say that Samsung went through design evolution and brought a new look to the classic one. You will see no anodized aluminum frame, the bezels are polished now, the back has the well-known from Galaxy Note 9 set of cameras, and thanks God they are not 6 but 3. The color scheme of our sample's back is prism green. In our opinion it looks fantastic, it's eye-catching, bright and shiny. In other brands' color ranges are filled with red, blue and twin light, while here we see a fresh view on such a common idea of the shimmering film under the glass. The positive things are also a liquid protection and the card drawer where you can put 2 SIM cards or one of them plus a storage microSD. When we deal with some middle-class phones, such decision feels more like a compromise, but in flagships it's kinda a bonus. You know, let's bring a bit of a punishment. The place for a power button must be a joke and start the issue created for a purpose that will be fixed in the future models. I may be the last person who doesn't get what's the reason for setting it so high, but for me it would be comfortable if the button was 2-3 centimeters lower. Alright, if I kick back the conspiracy theory, overall Galaxy S10 shows impressive ergonomics. It became less heavy, fits nicely in hand and is pretty comfortable to use. Bixby is still a nasty baby that makes headache. It saved its dedicated button, which makes only worse. The possibility to reappoint its function doesn't make it quit from desire to specifically turn Bixby on. Besides, the list of replacement commands is too short. One of the most distinctive features of Samsung top models is the absence of the notch. Instead, display became hole punch with the camera module in the corner. All sensors live right below the screen. But let's get back to this haul. I think designers department took a month vacation after S10 model's release, as the phones got many wallpapers with a dark area in the upper right corner that hides the nasty hole. Smart decision, but let's be honest, scrolling through the desktop is not what you buy smartphones for over 1000 bucks. In all the menus and full screen apps, this black-eyed piece is visible. The only question is how many nerves will it cost you. The camera definitely appears in games and sometimes blocks parts of the interface. At least in such case you can flip the phone over and the problem disappears, while you are still counting nerves. The screen once again became cooler with more precise colors. Maybe now it can be used instead of eye drops. If seriously I wasn't noticing any difference between S10 and Note 9 screens before deep comparison. The only breakthrough is in the maximum brightness level. No matter how shiny was the day, I never had to adjust the backlight up to its maximum, and 70% was enough for comfortable readability. If you take a look at the display up the diagonal line, you can spot a slight greening, but everything else is fine. The color settings are much simpler. In the past there were more parameters, now we see only 2 main with plain names. I'm definitely satisfied with such changes. Also, I wasn't surprised to see HDR10 here, trigger for enhanced sensitivity of the touchscreen, and my favorite always on display. Its customization became even wider, and in order to save some phone charge you can wake the feature up with a single tap. For the rest, it's good old awesome always on from Samsung. Also, you will find a fingerprint reader icon here. The sensor that hides under the display eventually made me sad. Its response is longer than in cases when Samsung puts scanners on the back panels. I suggest keeping your hands away from taking scratches and wash them more often, because any bit of a dirt will make you a stranger to S10 and it is ready to proudly defend your own information. Such naughty behavior is common and people start using Face Unlock more frequently. It works even at night by enhancing the screen lighting, but nothing is smooth even here. Many modern smartphones cannot be fooled by the photo, if only Galaxy S10 was one of them. And how can I call my own information secured after that? What can I call reliable is performance of the novelty. Samsung finally get closer with their chipset to Qualcomm creations and falls behind only in terms of synthetics. Exynos 9820 chip is a 4-core processor with operating frequency 2.73 GHz and Mali G76 MP12 graphics. All that together with 8 GB of RAM allows the smartphone to be light on hand under everyday loads with constant switching between dozens of apps and games. Our standard testing tools PUBG Mobile and World Tanks Blitz run at top-end graphics here, delighting with a wonderful picture even after 30-40 minutes of counting kills and recharging a vehicle's gun. Catch 3 circles of benchmark tests made with different settings of the virtual screen resolution adjustment. The results actually brought more questions than revealed the nature of the hardware. Perhaps you can help me out with this in comments. Let's move on to the battery. Its capacity is 3400 mAh. It shows quite good efficiency, but there's no room to speak about some magnificent numbers. If you forget about S10 as a flagship smartphone with cool features, 2 days of battery life are guaranteed. If you're gonna use the smartphone mostly with Wi-Fi, it will survive with a stretch 1.5 days. When we actively tested the camera performance, sound capabilities and other subtleties, the device couldn't give us even 1 day without a feed, but in more or less realistic loads, 1 day is an easy prey. It turned out that the drill is smartphones allowed to wake up at the slightest reason due to the incorrect operation of lift to wake and tap to wake features. The smartphone supports fast and wireless charging. Latter one is both for input and output. As a matter of fact, the cable reverse charging is commonly used in all smartphones, but Qi one is available for not many, at least by now. Basically, if you plan a family weekend on your personal island, you can buy yourself Galaxy S10 to feed wirelessly your wife's Galaxy S10 Plus while it's charging your kid's Galaxy S10e, just to be sure that it will be possible to recharge backup. Now let's face my favorite topic. There are a lot of cameras in the smartphone, noticeably more has only the new Nokia device. So here are 4 modules in total, 3 cameras at the back and 1 in front. The main set consists of wide-angle lens, telephoto and the classic one with dual aperture. Personally, I enjoy taking pictures with wide angle rather than with optical zoom, and I was quite glad about this module. It doesn't know how to focus on close objects, but it can focus in other situations, unlike many smartphones with similar features, always shooting at limitless. I give a solid thumbs up for it. Overall, pictures from all 3 cameras are pleasing with clarity, and difference with this parameter is seen only at night. Moreover, the additional modules do not fail either, although remembering other multi-camera smartphones, we were prepared for the worst. Oh, and by the way, the sharpness in all 3 lenses remains the same, even under not the best shooting conditions. Now about some disadvantages from rather software side. Auto white balance doesn't always work as proper. Auto HDR appears to be very brave, switching on only in really extreme cases. And the standard Korean noise reduction feature as always stands out in photos against other brands' examples. As for the rest, we have no hard claims. The colors are close to natural, shooting in backlight is well enough, blurring on close-ups is great, but not a Cloud9. That's just due to the lower aperture and high depth of the field while taking daylight photos. Smartphone captures video in 4K. Besides, while recording, you can switch between all 3 lenses. There are 2 modes of software stabilization, default one and action camera emulation mode. Currently, you're watching the work of simplified version, and now you enjoy how stumblings and shakings are smoothed by that Stabilizer 2000. Basically deals with its task quite efficiently. The front camera in Samsung's top phones of recent years, in my humble opinion, is one of the best, and so far I can't name another king to wear that crown. In this model everything is just as good as it was before, only now together with standard photo it can shoot a bit more wide-angled one. The first is gonna be liked by those who hate distortions on the edges of the frame, and the second is useful for a group selfie. Also, finally for Samsung, you can capture videos with your face in UHD. It happened, although S10 is not the first to offer that resolution, but the result videos are clearly among the best. Portrait mode is available for both main and selfie cameras. Action especially with rear camera, it's working better. There's different modes for portraits, you can change the blur amount, however, it's just a toy. How does S10 sound? Through headphones, S10 plays definitely better than Samsung's used to several years ago. By the standards of smartphones, this sound is nice indeed. If you're an audiophile guy, I can say that in a range from mid-bass and to the high-middle frequencies, everything is more or less good. The treble is simplified to its maximum, that's why the sound of drumming plates, violin and all that sort of stuff are very sad. Same goes for the side tones and overhanging. Fully enjoying the live records with Galaxy S10 unfortunately is not destined. Well, at least the resolution of middle frequencies is decent, which is already enough to hit the score. Again, as for the world of smartphones, everything that I said is at least okay. The speakers are literally on fire, you will hear they screaming, even in nice passive noise cancelling headphones that can make angle grinder whisper. You better turn off notifications before going to bed. S10 speaker surely outplays iPhone's one that is already pretty loud. I won't spare more words about the buggy software, but interface will get its part. On the one hand, it reminds my menu screen of some game for kids, on the other hand, my criticism ends here. The firmware works fine, no lethal bugs, and certain approvals for the notification bar convenient from the point of view of one-hand control, and deep volume settings right in the pop-up menu. So what do we have in the end? Galaxy S10 is one rare smartphone that embodied everything at once. No notch? Checked. Awesome cameras? Checked. Premium recognizable look? Checked. Saucy screen? Checked. Mini jack? Checked. NFC? Checked. Hopes for the long battery life and reliable software? Checked. Even useless voice helper is also checked. It seems to be an endless list for S10. In fact, it's only lacking the comfortable power button and a reliable means for owner's recognition. The rest is either adjustable in software or just acceptable. Galaxy S10 turned out to be a remarkable device, but we'd like to know more and compare it with some other juicy flagships in the next videos. By far, you can find the links to this guy in the description box below, and if you like this one, hit thumbs up and also subscribe and ring the bell to stay tuned for more cool content. My thanks for watching and cheers!